Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this best of three series between YSM Reborn and Team Piracy. It is Mike LaPhoenix, and joining me is a man that still hasn't got Twitter, Mr. StinkyPie. Stinky, how you doing?
I mean, Twitter is really just one of those things which I can't be bothered to do. Corporations, organizations, everyone uses Twitter, but not me because I'm just a lonely solo caster. But of course, not solo this time. I've got you with me.
Got you with me, indeed. We've got an interesting match on our hands now. I realize you've never cast this league before, so you probably don't know much about these teams. Luckily, neither do I. So we're going in blind. I know I've casted YSM Reborn before. Unfortunately, cannot remember what the outcome was, but I'm pretty sure it was decent. Perhaps I think they lost.
I actually just looked up both these teams, and I don't think they've had all that much success here in AEF.
Well, in that case, it's lucky you're here, because apparently I have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, I have a feeling, if I remember correctly, the last time I casted YSM Reborn, they were leading in both, like, I think it was 2-0, and they were leading in both games, but then they did something to throw both games. I'm pretty sure. I'm fairly
That's really the worst way to lose. Just if you throw a game where perhaps you should have won, and we'll see if they've changed things up this time around, because we're kind of reaching the point where, you know, in AEF, where you don't actually want to lose any more games than you have to. The early couple of weeks, sometimes you can get away with losing a game here and there, but now that we're into week maybe 5, 4, something like that, every game really starts counting from here on. So really time to bring it if they can.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And Stinky, what's interesting about AEF being the Australian tournament is you generally see picks that aren't extremely popular in the other sides of the world. And as you can see, we've already got a bounty hunter, which you really don't see anywhere apart from Australia.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I saw a bounty hunter, it was being played by Godot, so that is a thing, I guess. Down under, they do like their bounty hunters. Certainly looks like someone who could hold his own in the bush, so why not?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, look, I'm sure he could survive the Australian weather. Shout out to Luke J27 who's joined the chat. Luke, how's it going? Second pickup, we're waiting on it from Team Piracy. I suppose, Stinky, the YSM Nyx, not too much of a weird pick. Nyx is a pretty darn decent hero to pick up. I really don't know what to expect from both these teams, but this is what I like about Australian Dota, Stinky, is there's some interesting things that happen.
Yeah, I mean, the Nyx Assassin, like you say, there's nothing too weird about it. Obviously a decent hero in his own right, somewhat flexible in terms of laning, and really a very good counter to a lot of the popular heroes these days. So picking up the first pick, Nyx Assassin, doesn't really tell you too much about the YSM draft, but now with the Ogre Magi to go with the Bounty Hunter, this is a very strong early game duo. Not necessarily in conjunction together, but Ogre Magi, he's got amazing health regen, he's got amazing armor. You just walk up to people, and what do they do about you in a lane? With the Bounty Hunter, with your invis, you just run around, create havoc. So to me, it looks like Team Piracy, they're placing a lot of emphasis in the early game, and maybe they want to go for a bit of a push.
Yeah,
you know, they're...
Well, the Aussies, they generally really like that those mid-style drafts, and I think there's a lot of emphasis placed, like you said, on winning the lanes and putting some early aggression on. So I mean both heroes that like have already been picked up from Piracy already kind of state that. I guess we'll find out. YSM taking a bit more time to choose this second pick. I suppose they have to think about it carefully, almost, because, you know, they're going to have a hard lane no matter what. And there's another one you don't see very often. There's a Bane pickup. Stinky, how the hell do you feel about this?
He's certainly a hero who can just go toe-to-toe with that Ogre and Bounty Hunter if he has to. The Brain Sap, of course, with that damage as well as the heal is just so effective when it comes to trading. So realizing that Piracy are going for this really strong bully your lanes kind of draft, you just pick up the Bane, and that really seems to be the perfect answer to me.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I always found Bane to be a bit of a clunky hero. You know, he's got an awkward animations with the spells. He's got an awkward attack animation. That's what I always found. Also, his spells are relatively expensive, so it felt like you could always punish him for that early. But then again, when you get past that 10-15 minute mark, when he's got the arcane boots going, he can be a bit of a pain.
Yeah, and one of the things about Bane is that Bane in isolation perhaps isn't the scariest, but with that Nightmare, it's such a reliable setup for a lot of various spells. So the Nyx Assassin they already have, but Team Piracy, upon seeing this Bane pick, have just gone straight for the Mirada ban, they've gone straight for the Invoker ban, and these are two heroes who can benefit from that Nightmare setup with the Sunstrike and Arrow respectively. So really, it's not just the Bane that you have to be careful of, but perhaps whoever they pair him up with.
Well, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that one, but yeah, like you said, the sleep, it would have been good. The Invoke, obviously, with the Sunstrike, the Arrow from the Priestess, I mean, that would have been amazing. Axe is the pickup from Piracy. So, interesting. A bit of team fight going on. A bit of more... Would you say this is more lane aggression? Like, is this going to be an off-lane Axe?
Definitely. I mean, certainly with the Bounty Hunter and Ogre picked up, I don't think these heroes are going to go offlane, so it has to be an offlane Axe. And like you say, it does really fit with that sort of aggressive style, just run at you with an Axe. Even before you get your Blink Dagger, you've got your Bounty Hunter providing the track, you've got your Ogre providing the Bloodlust. This can be an Axe just running straight into your team and trying to get the calls that way. So yeah, I can definitely see what Team Piracy are going for here. All they need now is a hero to back up these sort of melee run at you heroes and just provide the damage, and they're pretty good to go.
Well, I mean, I can agree with what you mentioned, and a Luna pickup. I mean, this is interesting, right? Like, so Team Piracy, they want to run in, they want to have some fun, but then you're going to run into an Eclipse, which is not very fun. Is this the right pick? I mean, I feel like Luna, if she doesn't get a good start, like, I feel like it's just not going to be a great game for her. So I'm a bit unsure about this, because YSM right now, they look slightly greedy, in my opinion, with their draft.
Definitely agree with you somewhat there. And yeah, you can keep the Bane up to support this Luna. You can have whatever other support you want there too, but that means that you're investing a lot to keep this Luna in that lane, which also by extension means that you're perhaps not helping your other lanes so much. So this Bounty Hunter, this Ogre, if they don't go to the Luna's lane, they can just wreak havoc elsewhere across the map. So yeah, I'm really not too sure about this Luna pick. Luna as well, even though she is a ranged hero, doesn't have the longest attack range, and Axe really doesn't mind that matchup all that much.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, like you said, with Luna, she's going to have to be close to attack, but then Axe is like, well, I don't mind being close to you. That's perfectly fine. And hold on a minute, like Templar Assassin, I mean, mind you, this is an Australian mid staple. The Aussies love the TA. I feel like this TA is going to be very, very effective against this Luna. I mean, you've got that refraction, so the Eclipse isn't really going to, like, half of it's not even going to matter. It's just going to go to nothing. I suppose they've got an Ember Spirit to kind of deal with that refraction now, but I'm feeling very confident in Team Piracy's draft and not so confident with YSM at the moment, to be honest with you, Stinky.
I'm going to have to agree with you here. And the Ogre, the Bounty Hunter, they provide a huge amount of attack speed. One of Luna's few defenses against anything really is just having one of the highest base movement speeds in the game, being able to run away from things. But when you're tracked and your opponent is bloodlusted and maybe even slowed by an Axe Battle Hunger, you are not getting away from anything. So without any sort of defensive support, like, say, the Vengeful Spirit perhaps, they've got a Bane. The Nightmare can do some work, but it's really not that reliable. So I worry about this Luna as to whether she'll be able to survive in these team fights or whether Team Piracy are just going to jump on her and destroy her.
You actually just pointed out something that I didn't even pick up on. With the whole, the slows and the speed that the side of Piracy have. So, like, they've got the Battle Hunger, they've got the Ignite to slow people down, not to mention the TA traps. Then you've got Bounty Hunter with the track to speed you up. You've got Ignite as well. And if you get a one dunk off, then your whole team's sped up. I mean, this is a pretty, like, snowballish draft. And look, YSM pick up Earth Spirit, which I think was probably a decent pickup to make. I suppose that's their position 4. But I don't know, like, there's just a lot of, like, it feels like if Team Piracy get going, within that first 15-minute mark kind of thing, then I don't know how they're going to stop them.
Yeah, I mean, with the track gold coming in too, there's really no way that YSM are going to be able to do this. A lot of it is just going to come down to the early laning phase and what they get out of these lanes, whether or not the Earth Spirit can counter the Bounty Hunter's rotations or vice versa. And that's really just going to be setting up for the mid game.
Lifestealer, how do we feel about that?
It's just a solid hero to have. A lot of magical damage on the side of YSM, so that Rage is going to be fairly useful. They do have the Bane ultimate, which pierces through BKB, but other than that, not too many ways to handle a Raging Lifestealer. And we've been talking about this quite a lot, but with all the slows, with all the movement speed buffs, they don't have to worry about a Lifestealer getting kited around, and that's really the only worry you have as a Lifestealer, so I really like this pickup.
Well, Stinky, before we get into the game, I mean, we don't want to count any team out, but for the record, who do you think has the better draft going into the game?
Definitely Team Piracy.
Yeah, well, I don't think either of us disagree with that. We will we'll find out what happens. I mean, we should mention as well. It feels like if it goes, well, actually, I don't know, because I was about to say if it goes really late, then maybe YSM have the upper hand, but to be honest, now I don't even know. Nevertheless, let's call out some players and heroes. We'll do the usual Radiant Dire thing that we do. So on the Lifestealers, or on the Radiant side, I have a Lifestealer by the name of Sentinel. Timosity will be playing the Ogre Magi. We have a TA being played by Mockloy. Feels Bad Man will be playing that Axe. And finally, we have Dragon TM. He has trademarked it. Playing the Bounty Hunter. And the Dire, if you could, please.
On the side of YSM Reborn, we've got Nevdi playing the Earth Spirit, DC28 on the Ember Spirit, Grimace playing the Luna, D-Wood on the Bane, and Grolokos playing the Nyx Assassin.
Grolokos has 3 mangoes as well. I mean, that's a lot of regen.
This is the classic Nyx build, right?
Is this a John build?
I really don't know. It's a build which lets you stay in lane, but if you just get gone on and you die, it doesn't really offer that much help. But the regen can certainly be handy in the long run.
Yeah, look, I'm not gonna say anything about it at this point, because I mean he's got 7.3 HP regen. That's a lot. I mean, that's really substantial. So like you said, I mean, as long as he doesn't die, it'll probably come in handy, because he'll never have to back off. But if he dies, it's just completely useless, does nothing for him. We'll find out. We're finally going to get to see what these lanes are. Feels Bad Man, like you said, he is on the Axe. He will be going to the off lane, and you can already see Dragon is there with him. So he'll be scouting out, seeing what's going on in that dire jungle. Got the mid matchup of Mockloy and DC28. So we'll have to see how that turns out. It feels like it's really based on, you know, which player plays the mid better. And of course we have Sentinel and Timosity up against Grolokos at the bot lane. And in fact, Mockloy is already forced out of his lane by Nevdi.
Missing there on the roll, but this is hardly a fair lane when it's 1v2 like this. Of course, with the Earth Spirit showing on the map, this pretty much leaves free reign for our 2 offlaners up top, and they can bully around Grimace.
It's not going to be easy for TA, but like you said, now that they know where the ES is, they might be able to extend a bit further. Grimace, he's probably not going to have the best game in the world, but then again, you never know. I mean, like I said, YSM, the last couple games I casted, they lost. It really felt like they threw, so they're not a bad team at all. In fact, Dragon, he gets jumped on, and does he have invis? No, I don't think he does. No, he went for the Janata first level, and he actually walks away somehow. Feels Bad Man. Now, he's being chased up, and I don't know what I'm seeing here, but for some reason, he's getting no spins. They will manage to, I guess, force him back, and they will walk away with that, and I suppose the Dire will be happy with what they've done.
That's a win for sure, as Bounty Hunter went for the Janata level 1, went for the Poor Man Shield, so he is really playing as an off-lane Bounty Hunter, I suppose. Mid lane is, you know, somewhat in favor of this Ember Spirit, as it should be in a 1v1, but really it all depends on these supports and their rotations.
Oh, they found Axe as well, Stinky. Stinky, they found Axe, and he goes down. Nevdi, how the hell did he know? There's no wards around. I guess he just made the guess. He's like, well, if Axe isn't in lane, he's got to be in this jungle or the base. I may as well check the jungle. And now they've smoked up mid lane. TH has been rooted up. Mokloy, he will back off. That being said, Dawood is there with the Earth Spirit Nevdi. And Nevdi might roll in. Mokloy hasn't backed off here. It is available. When does he want to go though? DC-28. He has not got the Flame Guard, but he's got the Searing Chains available. And here we go. Nevdi rolls in. Mokloy gets rooted up as well. And they kind of misplaced that heal, but Mokloy will end up going down as well. And Ogre cancels the TP. That's a big, big win for the side of the Dire.
Yep. Regen Rune certainly coming in handy for DC-28 too. A very well-timed gank, and it just seems like YSM, they're really dictating the pace of this game.
Well, we
like
talked about it.
Yeah, this is pretty much gonna be deciding the laning phase, and from the laning phase, perhaps the mid game too. We're talking about how we like Piracy's draft and how if they get off to a good start, they could just snowball the game, but they need to get off to this good start. Yeah, and right now that is not looking like it's happening.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right, Stinky. I mean, that's what they needed to do, and yeah, like you said, YSM, they realize that, and they go, well, hold on a minute. Just because you've drafted these heroes doesn't mean we're gonna let you do that. And they're doing pretty well for themselves currently. 0-2 to the way of YSM. I've got to say, I'm relatively impressed. DC-28 having no trouble mid lane. In fact, he's going on Mokloy again, and it's looking really bad for this tier right now. Top lane actually feels bad, man. He found Grimace the Janata as well, but they can't really deal any more damage to him. Dawood's there. He's chasing him up at the moment. In fact, feels bad, man, quite low. And DC-28 mid lane again with Nevdi. They take out TA once again. Dragon, he was slept up. It looks like he was making a TP attempt, but it got cancelled off, and that'll be the end of that one. But this TA having a terrible time mid lane. Mokloy, he can't get anything.
And it is a somewhat Ember favored lane. Of course, they did pick it as a counter pick, but it definitely should not be this one-sided. And it really just all comes down to those rotations by Nevdi. 2 out of 2, he gets the kills, and what do they have in return? They've got a Bounty Hunter now, but he's been sitting off lane, sharing XP. He's still at level 2, 4 minutes into the game, so I'm really not too sure Dragon's rotation will be that effective. Certainly not when Ember Spirit has a haste rune.
It's gonna be I mean, poor Bounty Hunter probably walked in thinking, yeah, I'll be able to get something done here. But like you said, he probably looked at the items, saw a haste rune and thought, well, that's kind of pointless. And you know what, Stinky? One thing we have not discussed yet. This bot lane, Grolacost has not died. In fact, he's not really been struggling either. Those 3 mangoes really paying off. He's got 12 last hits, and for an offlane Nyx, that's pretty darn decent.
Yeah, level 4 already too, so really can't complain about anything in this lane.
This is very interesting. Very interesting to see. I was, we were laughing about the 3 mangoes before, but now Grolacost showing us why you do go 3 mangoes, and needless to say, my next pub I play Nyx, I'll be getting 3 mangoes in the offlane, and probably getting reported, but nevertheless, I'm getting it. Oh, Nevdi.
This time around, they've got a ward though, spotting out Nevdi, so shouldn't be too effective. That's the first rotation from Nevdi, which has actually not found its mark.
Well, that's I mean, that's going to be a bit of a shame, but he'll be fine with it. For some reason, Stinky, oh, never mind. I was just going to say I fogged the other team somehow, but clearly pressed the wrong button. Now it's fixed. Never mind. Yeah, Dragon, mid lane, trying to find some kind of gank attempt here. DC-28. Will cop a hit, but then Searing Chains. Oh, wait a minute. He's going to turn around here. Dragon, I think he's dead. He's got the haste rune as well. And Dragon, you probably should have checked the bottle, sir. DC-28, he'll be fine now. Nevdi again. Mokloy, he's going down the kickback as well. Oh, my goodness. That's just, I mean, that's just upsetting.
That really is. That same haste rune from earlier still hadn't expired, so we just popped that one, ran him down, no mana whatsoever on Dragon to try and escape, so he really just ended up giving away a kill that he perhaps didn't want to. I mean, certainly didn't want to, that's beyond doubt. But yeah, I just have to say I'm honestly a bit confused by the laning decision. Top lane Eclipse being blown, and that's yet another death onto Dragon. Oh boy.
Yeah, Dragon's getting ganked up. Meanwhile, mid lane as well. They jumped on Mokloi, but they missed the rolling boulder. So that was a bit of a shame for YSM. But Steve, it's 6-0. We were basically saying there's no way this draft's gonna win it for them. And they've, as usual, when we make a prediction, we're completely wrong. Speaking of which, feels bad, man. He's been slept up, D-Wood. He's playing around with this axe. And apparently, this axe is not effective whatsoever at this point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Grimace is out of mana, but they're going for this kill.
D-Wood just hits him. Thanks to that Lunar Blessing. I mean, it looked like it was going to take at least 2 hits, but not the case. 1 hit will do the job. And look at this. There is a gank on Lifestealer bot lane. He's currently infested in a creep. But they're waiting. They've got full mana here, Stinky. They're not really afraid to just stick around. There's Sentinel. Are they going to make a roll? Yes, they are. It will go the wrong way, though. No, in fact, did he cancel it? No, he didn't. He got blocked off. Ogre, he'll give his life away. Oh, the stun hit Sentinel. He runs back in, though. He wants to fight the silence. Nevdi, he's going to back out now. He's too low. The Ignite might do the job, actually. Sentinel, no mana available. 1 hit. The rolling boulder, it will get him out. Grolakos is going to go for another. No, he won't. Dragon has entered the arena, and they will back off. And what a messy fight. Messy.
No one dies, though.
No. Nobody does end up dying. He manages to back off. And I mean, that looked pretty close, though. That Earth Spirit, the Earth Spirit stun hits the Innakes in the back lines. That was bloody close.
Really not a great conclusion, though. If you're a safe lane lifestealer and getting away with your life is almost a win for you.
Oh, I agree with you there, but look at this, Nevdi. Janata, that will be it, though. No Ignite. They'll just let him walk off. And, you know, it's not every day anymore that you see an Earth Spirit being so effective. And hold that thought for a second, because Mokloi, oh, there's the spirits. He takes them down, the remnants. And again, a TP is cancelled off, because there's just no point of them coming in. And I mean, that's probably the second TP they've made the other team waste. TA, how many times she died now? This is the 4th time, Stinky. I don't know how she's going to get any farm.
Yep. And TA really is a hero who needs farm. You need to get to a fast Tessellator or fast Blink Dagger. The hero doesn't necessarily fall off per se, but you do want to be the one dictating the pace of the game. Whereas right now, it is very clearly YSM with that control. And a lot of this does stem from the laning decisions coming out from Team Piracy, keeping the Bounty Hunter in the offlane. He wasn't able to find all that much, really just ended up sapping EXP from his axe, keeping the Ogre bottom lane. Similar story there. Didn't really help his Lifestealer out all that much. Lifestealer would have been perfectly fine against the next solo. Didn't get all that many levels from pulling. Really didn't do all that much during the laning phase, and it's starting to show.
Oh, they might find a kill here. But Nevdi does back off, finds himself a haste rune. There might be a team fight here, though, Stinky. Nyx is in Vendetta. They're going after D-Wood. They're searing chains onto the Ogre. Timosity looks like he might just drop from Grollo. And in fact, DC28, he's still going. Mokloi can't do anything to him. Is there a sleep? No, D-Wood doesn't commit it quite yet. He's out of range now. They'll have to let the TA go. Dragon, he is scouting out quite a lot. So he has got all that information. It looks like they're making a rotation down for Sentinel. But I don't know what they can really do. The stun, oh, barely misses. Would have cancelled that TP. That would have been a bit of an amazing play, but instead, they'll get a tier 1 for their trouble.
Can't really complain about a dead tier 1 tower, even if you don't get a Lifestealer.
No, you really can't.
Oh boy, this is looking really bad, though. Bounty Hunter, 11 minutes in, still stuck at level 4. His decision to stay top has not paid off at all. Axe really hasn't found all that much farm either. He's just now hit level 6 compared to Nyx Assassin, who's comfortably sitting at level 7, has already made several rotations with that Vendetta. And from this point on, it really seems like YSM are just going to take over the game.
Well, it looks like YSM, they're also going for one of those very mid-style plays. I mean, the Luna has got the Mask of Madness, so it looks like they just want to, like, they realize how much of an advantage they have. I think they're just going to keep pushing. Now they found Dragon as well. With that sentry, they place another one just in case, but I think he's going to sleep, and in fact he is. And they're might even get a tier 2 out of this. Mokloi, don't come in. The rolling boulder, will he get kicked back? Yes, he will. Grimace, is there an Eclipse? There is, but they don't want to have to commit it. The dust is there, though. They'll get the TA again. That's 5 deaths on her. I don't know what they do here. What's the win condition for the side of Team Piracy?
they really just don't have the tools that they were intending to have at this point in time. There's no track available on the Bounty Hunter, there's no Blink Dagger on the Axe, he's going for the Vanguard instead, which is also understandable, but I honestly don't know what they do. No. Under-leveled, out-farmed, there really doesn't seem to be any solution here.
Yeah, well, I was going to say maybe the Life Stealer, but Sentinel just got dropped, and I mean, it wasn't pretty. There was blood everywhere, Stinky. It was a bit of a nightmare, excuse the pun, but I think this tier 2 is going down.
And nighttime falls, but this is a Luna, and she sees everything.
Oh, look at this! Look at this! Sentry Ward walked into, dies straight away, the core misses as well, DC-28, he's just walking around all these guys, Mokloy, he gets dusted up, DC, he doesn't want to stop. He knows he can keep going. Nevdi, what the hell is he doing there? He just rolls out. TA gets stunned up as well, and he'll go down. Now Timosity will be the next target. He actually chains through the stun somehow and gets a kill. Now Sentinel actually going to try and go after Grolo, but he will back off with that Vendetta. Now the root again onto Bounty. He will drop. Sentinel looks like he'll be the next target. The Eclipse is a bit early, but it's going to start connecting regardless. No, it won't. But the change is there. They're not scared of anything. The dunk misses. Grimace, he's on a double kill now. They've got the life stealer as well. Sentinel, what can he really do? He can infest, but eventually that thing's dying. And once it does, there's going to be a few heroes that pop out. Doesn't get the Ember kill. Nebdi's there. Does he want to stun? He probably will. Just waiting for the rage. It's going to be a long range one. Timosity going to come in and they'll let the life stealer go, but Stinky, it's 17-0. They haven't dropped a kill yet.
Yep. And a 13,000 gold lead at 13 minutes in. Really not what you want to see. And this is a team who needs to be ahead and wants to be ahead and could have been ahead. But unfortunately for them, they're instead facing up against a very scary Ember Spirit. I mean, very scary everything, really. They've now got level 6 on their Earth Spirit. He's been creating so much havoc in these team fights. He's going to be even more powerful. And I really don't know what's going to do it for them. Still level 4 on this Bounty Hunter. TA still has barely any items, working towards the treads at 14 minutes of the game. We've seen full Desolators completed on TAs at this point, and that's certainly not the case here.
Oh, look at this. Mid lane, Dragon. He can't even walk around anymore, Sentinel. He'll be the next target. He has raged up at the stun. The Nightmare's there. They're just going to start whacking him down. In fact, there's no defense for him either. No backup. That's their carry, and they're saying, no, there's no chance. See you later. This tier 2's not going to last. Is there even a chance anymore? It's 19-0. I don't want to be one of those dudes, but this is just looking really bad for Piracy.
As bad as it gets and getting even worse.
Apparently not as bad as it could have gotten quite yet. Nevdi gets battle hungered, but it's 20-0. The tier 2 is being whacked by Grimace at the moment. They've got everything they need. I mean, like I mentioned, I'm pretty sure YSM threw their last series that I casted, so we can't count Piracy out yet. DC-28 though, he heard what I said. He said, nope, you're wrong. Going after TA, no call coming out. Nevdi again, Phil's Batman, there's the call. And actually, they might get their first kill. No, the Nightmare's there. And they're going to keep going. Grimace, oh, what a stun from the Knicks. And they're all going to go down. Sentinel will drop as well. And 25-0, they call GG. Well played. Not a kill drop, Stinky. And let me tell you, we were completely wrong.
Oh, we definitely were. That last Nightmare at the end there, saving them from that perfect game. So that's it. 15 minutes and YSM. What can you say, really?
Well, it's like when you're in high school and you try to stick up for yourself against the biggest guy in school, and you get completely destroyed. You don't even land a single punch. That's basically what just happened to Team Piracy. They tried, they failed completely. But I believe in them, Stinky. I believe in them. I reckon game 2, they're going to come back, and they're probably going to prove us wrong, or maybe right, because we initially said they were going to win the game. So, they'll prove us right in the second game.
Perhaps. I felt like they had the better draft. I don't know.
Stinky, by the way, you've got some compliments in the Twitch chat. Thank you very much for the compliments towards StinkyPie.
I'll take what I can get.
Well, we'll be back for game 2, guys. Stick around with us. I'm going to put on some 2 Steps from Hell. And, I mean, that's about where Team Piracy is right now, but hopefully they'll make their walk back up the stairway to heaven. So, Stick around with us, guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 2 of this Best of 3 series between Team Piracy and YSM Reborn. It is Mike LaPhoenix, joined by Mr. StinkyPie. Stinky, how are you feeling after Game 1?
Well, certainly better than how Team Piracy are feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a pretty rough Game 1. I don't think there's really any other way to put it.
Well, I mean, it was rough. It wasn't pretty. We'll see what they pull off. I mean, we could maybe put it down to the draft. Maybe they would, like we said this, but they needed to get a good start. That didn't happen. And now maybe they'll sit there and go, okay, we can't get that good start that we wanted. Maybe we'll just go for a safer draft and we'll try to outplay them.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. Perhaps not so much the draft itself, but the way they played around it. They had some very clear strengths in their draft, but they didn't play to those strengths. You know, you've got a bounty hunter, you've got an ogre. These are great heroes who are running around, creating space for your core's lifestealer here who can just sit in his own lane and farm away perfectly fine. What's a Nyx going to do to stop a lifestealer from farming? But they didn't do that. They sat in their respective lanes, and it just allowed YSM to run all over them. The rotations coming out from Nefty were great. They pretty much hit their mark 100% of the time, and not much of an answer there for Team Piracy. When they decided to rotate, it was just all too late, and a couple of the earlier ganks from Dragon really just backfired there.
Yeah, it really did. There's a Rubik pickup, there's an Invoker, there's a Dazzle. Now, part of me believes that YSM might be getting a bit more confident after Game 1. They've gone for a bit of what looks like a more fun lineup, Stinky. As you can see, Team Piracy, they pick up a Dazzle, which is a very safe... I mean, it doesn't get much safer than that. I don't know. This could be good for Piracy. Maybe a bit of overconfidence from YSM. Maybe.
Perhaps. I mean, YSM, they picked up those two picks bang bang, so be it comfort, be it cockiness, who knows. But Rubik Invoker, it's not a bad combo. You've got the lift from the Rubik. It's a very reliable setup for Invoker's Sunstrike. We mentioned this in Game 1. Now that the Bane's banned out, they just go for the Rubik instead. But seeing the Dazzle, and this is quite a wild hypothesis, but this does make me think perhaps the Huskar for Team Piracy.
Huskar does sound delicious and stinky. Look, I'd hate to break the thought process you're going through right now. There's a lot of calculations going through your head, I know, but somebody in the Twitch chat has asked you a specific question that I'd like to repeat to you, because I'm assuming they don't think you can actually see what they've asked. Now, they asked, who is the co-caster? To which some people kindly replied stating it was StinkyPie, and then he asked, is that what he also smells like? Could you please answer that for us?
Depends on the day of the week. It tends to get worse on Tuesdays because my scheduled staff is on Wednesdays. So yeah, as long as you're not around me near Tuesdays or Mondays, and shortly after Wednesdays, it's usually not that bad.
You heard it first, kids. You heard it first on this Twitch stream. Monday, Tuesday, don't go near the bloke. Wednesday, you're probably going to be okay, and anything after that is fine. That's why people don't like Mondays, or Tuesdays for that matter. Let's get back into the game, Stinky. Ricky is the pickup. What the hell am I seeing? We saw Dragon. He couldn't do anything on the bounty. Now they went for a permanent invis hero?
Couldn't do anything, perhaps, is one way of putting it, but didn't choose to do anything, perhaps, is another. Just sitting in that offlane, I think at some point they sort of had the idea of perhaps putting an axe into the jungle, allowing the bounty hunter to soak XP in lane, but that really did not work out for them. So perhaps this time round they'll play the Ricky in a more active role, and that's really what I would like to see from them.
This is going to be interesting to watch. We'll see if they can do something with this Ricky pickup. I'm intrigued to see what YSM go, because I am really under the impression that they're a bit confident right now, maybe even a bit arrogant. There's an Earthshaker. Yeah.
Really no hesitation for any of their picks. They haven't used a single second of reserve time, so yeah, I mean they're feeling it right now, and who wouldn't be after that dominating game 1 performance?
Yeah. Look, I understand. I understand the confidence. I'm a confident bloke as well, but at the end of the day, Piracy, you've got to be careful. These kids, they could have just thrown game 1 just for the sake of it. They could just
Maybe.
That's a strat, Stinky. You throw game 1,
Yeah.
and then you win game 2 and 3.
Play the long con.
Yeah. It's a thing. It's a thing, kids. Don't think it doesn't happen. This third pick might give us a bit more of an impression as to what to expect, and absolutely not. It does not. There's a clockwork. There's a quick faceless void. So there's a lot going on here, Steve. I don't know what I'm seeing. What am I seeing?
YSM, they've got some very scary team fight going on. The faceless void, the Earthshaker, we really don't have to talk about, but throw an Invoker into the mix. Anyone who gets caught in that Chronosphere is going to die. That's pretty much how it's going to work, unless there's a Dazzle perhaps to save them. But honestly, Dazzle this game doesn't feel like the most reliable save. You've got the Invoker, he's got the Tornado. That's a great way to counter out the Shallow Grave at higher levels. Plenty of long-range stuns and control to get to this Dazzle too. But they do have the Clockwork, who can actually not hook into a Chronosphere, I believe, but he can skip the stun. So maybe just hooking in onto the Invoker as a Chronosphere comes out. Maybe they've got some ways to try and save their cores in teamfights. I'm really not too sure. Right now, Piracy, they're going for a sort of hodgepodge draft. They've got a lot of single target compared to the team fight coming out from YSM, but they also, once again, have some very strong early game heroes. The Ricky running around, creating space. Is a very lethal ganker when paired with, say, a Viper in lane, with a Clockwork in lane. So it's going to be a similar feel to this game too, I think, with Ricky trying to run around, trying to get stuff done, and maybe they can use that to snowball into an early lead. Because if they can't, they are going to be facing these very, very scary mid-late game lineup with this Faceless Void and all those spells to throw into there too.
Well, Sneaky, there's a line by the great John X Fire that came up once when Viper was picked, and it was God is dead and Viper killed him. That's literally how I feel right now. I hate the Viper pick. It's a disgusting hero, isn't it? It makes you vomit in your mouth a bit. You're playing against him, you can't do anything. You're playing with him, turns out to be terrible. You can't kill him. He has one spell. I mean, it's a disgusting hero. It's disgusting.
Disgusting, but if it's effective, why not? And Invoker, Viper, somewhat Viper favorite, but Invoker is one of those heroes who can perhaps hold his own. So really count on these supports from Team Piracy to be the ones to swing this matchup in their Viper's favor.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's an effective hero. I understand the reason they picked it, but I've got to say, Stinky, I'm not feeling confident with their draft right now. There's an anti-mage, but there's a Faceless Void sitting there. There's a Mirana now. I don't know how confident I feel here. I mean,
and Yeah, I really don't know. This anti-mage is really going to be what Team Piracy are betting on for them to be able to take things into the mid-late game. But they are against such a scary lineup. As if there weren't enough things to throw into a Chronosphere, now they've got Grimace on the Mirana. So that's about as much as you can get. Looks like it might actually be a core Mirana too, which is certainly very interesting.
It is. Now, I believe it's the level 25 talent now, Mirana, that makes it so your leap adds like 100 attack speed or something. Like something stupid. You got the split
it's
arrows.
Pretty stupid.
Yeah. You got the split arrows and then you got that. Like, it's probably one of the best level 25 talent trees you can ask for on any hero. So yeah, it could be a core Mirana. If they want to go for that right-click style, I mean, she can really do it now at level 25. Like, it's no problem. Stinky, nevertheless, I didn't ask you who's got the better draft. Ignoring what happened in game one, who do you feel more confident in right now?
I feel it's just so much easier to execute for YSM. So many things have to happen, right? For Piracy, they need to have their Ricky get active. They need to get their Viper ahead and allow him to make space for this anti-mage, who is going to be so desperately farming away, and perhaps all for naught if he just gets locked down by the multitude of ways that YSM have to lock him down. There are a lot of things that can kill an anti-mage, and anti-mage does not like getting killed.
Well, as much as I agree with you, Stinky, I'm gonna have to put all my energy towards Team Piracy. I feel for them. I want them to come back after that game one. I want to see something exciting from them. Although I've got to say, YSM, they've got a very exciting lineup to cast. Nevertheless, let's go through some plays, go through some drafts. Chat, please give some energy to Team Piracy because they're going to need it after that game one. On the Earthshaker, we've got Nevdi, who we saw was very effective as a roaming hero last game on the Earth Spirit. DC 28, he's on that Invoker this time around. Mr. Grimace, he'll be on the Mirana. We have a Rubik being played by D-Wood, and finally, we have what appears to be an offlane Void being played by Grolo. And if you could, please.
We've got Timosity playing the Dazzle, placing the ward on the enemy high ground in mid. That might have been spotted out, actually. Mokloi on the Viper. Sentinel playing the Anti-Mage. Feels Badman on the Ricky. And Dragon this time on the Clockwork, actually. So they have gone for a bit of a role swap here.
Interesting.
Well, I say role swap. They did put Dragon, even though he was on the Bounty Hunter in the off lane last time round, so perhaps that was supposed to be more of an off lane Bounty Hunter.
That's very interesting. I think, to be honest, like if I was in Dragon's position, I would have been there like, nope, don't give me that roaming Invis hero. I don't want it. Let me just sit in the off lane. Let me have my fun. Interestingly enough as well, Nevdi, who was roaming Earthshaker, or Earth Spirit, is now Earthshaker. And he isn't in the mid lane this time around. He's sticking down around bot. It looks like he wants to make Dragon's life a living hell again.
And not doing a bad job of it, just keeping him completely zoned out from this creep wave. A little bit of experience is going Dragon's way, but really not all that much. Certainly not with these denies coming in.
Yeah, it's not going to be very easy. For the clock. It's not going to be easy for anyone really on the side of Piracy, but we'll see what they can pull out. Interestingly enough, Phil's Badman is in the mid lane now on that Ricky. DC 28, gonna have to be somewhat careful. There's an Orb of Venom available, and now the slow from Mokloi as well, and it looks like it's just for the sake of a bit of harassment. They will end up backing off, and they'll force DC 28 to get those Quas orbs up and try and heal up a bit. It's going to make him a bit scared, I guess. Like, it's going to make him a bit preemptive to do anything, even go for those last hits. But at the end of the day, I feel like DC is just going to walk back in eventually and, you know, have a bit of fun in that mid lane.
Especially if Navi ever decides that he just wants to help out his mid laner. It's very hard to get aggressive onto a mid laner when there's an Earthshaker sitting behind them. Now, the Earth Spirit's one thing, but the Earthshaker with that Fisher, how do you really gank someone when Navi's there?
Yeah, well, it was, speaking of Nevdi, it was a bit funny because he went for the opposing team's bounty and then Ricky stole their bounty. So they kind of just traded bounties, but they went the long way around to get them. To answer your question though, yeah, it's going to be really hard to do anything when the Earthshaker's around. Feels bad, man, making a chase right now for DC28 mid lane. Still is only level 1, so doesn't have that blink or the smoke. DC28, he is being hit up. Actually, a lot of damage now. DC, he might actually die, and he does. So, game 1, 25-0. No kills picked up. Now they pick up the first blood.
And we're saying it's hard to kill an Invoker. The big provision there is that Nepti's not in the area. Nepti's bottom, in fact, and they're trying to get onto Dragon here.
Yeah, and Dragon, he's got the cogs. Oh, the Fisher, wrong side, and he blocks his team out. And I agree with what DC28 just did, because that was a bit of a crash and burn moment. That was a big, big misplay.
The Mirana arrow, I believe, also missed. The Fisher on the wrong side, even with the Rubik lift to set him up. A huge misplay there, and you know, maybe if he just had a TP, could have saved DC28 mid lane instead of going for that kill bottom. But, well, this time around the rotations don't work out for them, and they're going to try and compensate by going for a smoke gank.
Yeah, this is very interesting to see the side of YSM struggling only slightly. Like you said, the smoke is up. Mokloy, he's the target, and oh, not again. No, wait, there's the lift this time. They'll bring him back. The cold snap as well. Mokloy, he's a tanky Viper. The Sunstrike, though, you can't avoid the sun. You can't. I mean, that's pure damage, sir. So he does not make the dodge attempt. He will end up dropping, but it took 3 heroes and a Sunstrike to do that to him, Stiggy. That's a lot of work to kill a Viper.
Yep, space created for Dragon, and he was struggling early. He was actually barely level 2. Now he's up to level 3. He's going to be working his way towards that hook shot, and that is a very important spell. It's never not important, but this game especially, he's going to have to make space for an anti-mage.
Yeah. Yeah, he really is, and you know, those levels are going to be important. Grimace is trying to farm against Dragon, but Dragon doesn't really care. As long as he gets the XP and maybe a bit of gold, he'll be happy. At the end of the day, we'll probably see him as well rotate at that level 6 mark. Probably relatively important. And I was gonna mention, by the way, like we were a bit, you know, we lacked a bit of confidence in Piracy's draft, but if it goes really late, do you think they have a bigger advantage?
It's all going to depend on how the spells are used. Yeah, Anti-Mage can be scary later on, but he has to find the farm, get an early Battle Fury to do that, and furthermore, he can't get locked down in team fights, which could be a problem against the YSM lineup.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Sentinel, still farming relatively free. 23-7 in terms of last hits and denies. Not doing as well as Grimace, but at the end of the day, it's not going to matter too much. Because once you've got that Battle Fury, you're going to have a great time. We'll see what they pull off. It might even be an idea this game for Grolo. He might need to get something like an Aghanim Scepter for this AM.
Oh, I actually really like that idea. They've got so many spells to follow up. They've got some very reliable follow-up too, with the Sunstrike, with the Mirana Arrow, the Earthshaker Fisher. So yeah, I actually really like that idea. Just get the Aghanim Scepter throughout the Chronos willy-nilly, and every Chronos should be a kill.
It really should. I mean, it's only a 60-second cooldown once you've got it, I believe. So it really feels necessary for them, unless they just destroy this aim. Speaking of which, Dragon, big trouble at the moment. Cogs kind of traps himself in, and he will end up dropping. It was a nice arrow coming out from Grimace, as well as the lift from D-Wood, and that's really all she wrote. And I guess that's one of the things, right, is like when you've got a setup for the arrow being in that lift, I mean, it's just piece of cake. There's no thought process necessary.
No Sunstrike necessary either to secure that kill. It just seemed all too easy.
Oh, absolutely. That's a good point, actually. Well,
importantly, Nevdi, he wasn't actually involved in any of that. He was just sitting mid the whole time. I think he was eventually spotted out, but again, it's just how do you kill an Invoker when there's an Earthshaker sitting behind him?
Well, I mean, the answer is you really can't, unless that Fisher is missed. Actually, hold on a goddamn minute. Dragon again. Walking away with 20 HP. My goodness. Not having the greatest time, and he's going to use his shrine. He'll be fine, but that was pretty darn close. Things getting a bit risky for him at the moment.
Yep. He has gone for the max rocket flare build, which is sort of the plan B for Clockworks. Ideally, you do want to be able to get away with that max battery assault and get aggressive yourself, but again, against the laner like the Mirana, especially when he's got a Rubik backing up, he's just resorting to last hitting with that Rocket Flare. So it's not all that terrible. He should be finding his levels, but very clearly behind Grolocast, who's on this Faceless Void, already has a Chronosphere.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, oh, wait a minute, there's the Chrono. Grollo, who's he going for, though? It looks like it's the Dazzle, and Dazzle will drop fairly easily, unless, no, the Shallow Grave animation wasn't there in time. Sentinel, he will probably back off, will he? Yes, he will. So they go for the Dazzle with that first Chrono, and I suppose that's a fair target to go for. I mean, the likelihood is they probably wouldn't have been able to kill the Anti, and look at this, they're going to keep going here. Feels bad, man. Gotta be careful. There's sentry wards around. He does make a jump up and he'll be fine. D-Wood and Nevdi still around the area. They do want to have another go here, it looks like, but... Oh, wait a minute. There's the Fisher. Oh, what a bash! The Shallow Grave was used, but my goodness, some of that RNG coming out from the Void is a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, they didn't have the mana for the telekinesis onto Rubik. If not, with that bash might have been the setup that they needed to perhaps get something like the Sunstrike. DC-28 still sitting with that available. It's already been invoked, so if they just had a little bit more, even Sentinel could have been in trouble. But thankfully, they've got the Dazzle, and Dazzle's pretty good in situations like that.
No, absolutely. And Dazzle, he's gonna really have to be on his well, he's gonna have to be all attention into this game, because he's going to be having to go very fast with those Shallow Graves. There's not going to be much time. He's going to get the timing perfect. It's not going to be easy, but if he can give this time to the Anti-Mage, he probably could pull this off. In fact, look at this, DC-28. Whoops, the camera's going the other way. They had to go on the Invoker. They did miss at the end of the day, but that pressure's always there, and they place a Sentry Ward now. D-Wood, he's tired of this Ricky annoying his mid-Invoker. And yeah, he places a sentry, allows that vision now, and it's not going to be easy for that Rikimaru to walk in and do what he wants. Feels bad, man. He's probably going to have to look for another lane now.
And I can't help but feel that, you know, this Ricky really just hasn't done enough. Level 3 at 9 minutes into the game. Only found that one kill earlier. I feel like when you pick the Ricky, especially this early into the draft, you want to get more.
Oh, absolutely. There's no real doubt about that. I mean, you know, like, you do want a lot with that, and he's not really... It doesn't feel like he's going to scale very well later. Like, the thing is, if he gets a Diffusal, I guess he does pretty well, but, you know, if he doesn't get any kills... Come from? Yeah. Well, that's the question. He does find a double damage, though, Stinky. This is a lot of damage. Well, it's 88 damage. I mean, it's not a lot, but... He's now hitting like a normal hero. That's a positive. We'll see what he can do.
They do have the hookshot available too on Dragon, so maybe that's the setup that they could use to get active around the map, but he's very low in mana right now.
Well, they could have a go here. We'll have to wait and see, and it looks like Potom will end up backing off. And top lane, there's a bit of action, but it's just Sentinel and Grollo trading some hits with each other. Oh, wait a minute, there's a Fisher. And Sentinel, he gets bashed twice, actually. He will be fine at the end of the day, but my goodness. Bit of RNG going the way of Void again, and Grollo seems like he's going to have a decent game ahead of him. D-Wood, meanwhile, they're chasing Dragon bot lane. The arrow barely misses, but the lift is there. Feels bad, man. Jumps in to try and help out, but the Cogs does not do the job. D-Wood gets the kill. Dragon gets dropped again, and Feels bad, man. He's going to have to back off because, again, there's another Sentry Ward at that bot lane. He just can't do anything.
I suppose the silver lining in all of that is that with Dragon being that he's going to respawn in Fountain, full health, full mana, maybe they can try to get something done this time. He's got just enough money to buy a smoke, and would like to try and see them get more active. I don't think staying at this bottom lane trying to kill this Mirana is really going to work out for them. Maybe if they combine their efforts, they could get some kills elsewhere. Who knows? Who knows
indeed. We'll find out. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, do you reckon the Dire are just sitting there, like, do you reckon Piracy just sitting there going, it's fine, you know, we'll take this late and we'll have the advantage? Like, it feels like they have a lot more confidence in their late game than I suppose YSM might. And maybe that's their plan. It's like, all right, it doesn't even matter if we don't get kills. Let's just not die and get some farm. Maybe that's the plan.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be all that bad for Sentinel here to have a quiet laning phase, but you know, already he has some heroes in this lane show up every now and then. The Chronosphere's available once again, and you know, with the Earthshaker being there, I wouldn't be surprised if YSM just try and apply more pressure onto this anti-mage. Yeah, they can try and keep the status quo, but I'm not sure that YSM are going to sit by idly and allow that to happen.
Indeed. Well, I mean, I want to address a question that's happening in chat, but AM Sentinel will end up backing off. Hold on a minute. Stinky, give me 1 second, because I'm getting I'm getting pinged by three different people. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Oh god, the bashes are so ridiculous. Oh no, Sentinel. He actually would have died there if the Chronosphere came out. It's a level 1 grave. Simplicity didn't have the range to really get the shallow grave off. If they had the Sunstrike ready, they just could have killed him very easily with that Chronosphere and the Sunstrike combo.
Well, Stinky, thank you for that. I'm back. Luckily, actually, hold on a minute. Potom, bot lane, Grimace. Looks like he could be in trouble. We'll end up back up. Oh, there's a hook shot from Dragon. He's finally got his vengeance. Grimace, he'll get dropped. And, well, wait a minute. The Fisher came out. Nevdi. He gets a return kill. Now feels bad, man. He's running through the sentry. No! D-Wood with the Fade bottom. What a time to be back. What a time to be alive, Stinky. 2 kills go the way of the Radiant. 1 the way of the Team Piracy, but offlaner and position 4 for a safe lane Potom. So even, you reckon? You reckon it was?
Yeah, I mean, as far as that actual trade goes, it is certainly even, I think. But now there's a Faceless Void in your offlane, and he's got a Chronosphere ready to go. There's a Sunstrike ready to go. You've got to now deal with this pressure. If we consider perhaps a tier 1 push as part of that trade, might not be all that good for, oh god, if we include a anti-mage dying, that's certainly not good for them. No, it's not. But yeah, at the end of the day, he does go down. And has he got that Battle Fury yet? No, he doesn't. He needs about 350 gold here, Stinky. 350 gold. Battle Fury will be up, and maybe that's when things start rolling. It's not going to be the worst timing either. It's 14.5 minutes so far, so assumedly by about 16 minutes he should have the full B Fury up, and maybe he'll be able to get that farm he needs. Not the worst timing, but what are they going to lose in return for space for this anti-mage? We've been talking about this Chronosphere for a long time. I think we've really only seen that 1 Chrono.
Yeah, speaking of Mockloy, is he going to go down? No, he's not actually. Feels bad, man. Gets a kill on DC-28. How the hell did that happen? Nevdi, he's there. He's got the ulti, the Echo. Is he going to commit it? No, he's not. The ulti comes out from the Ricky and feels bad, man. I didn't see how he caught that kill onto DC-28, but somehow in hell he did. And he gets away with it. He walks away scot-free like the sneaky purple little bastard he is.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what happens when you try and kill a Viper with magical damage. He's got that maxed out corrosive skin, a lot tankier than DC-28 expected, and he ended up committing a little too hard there.
Well, speaking of committing, Stinky, Grolo commits the Chrono onto Dragon bot lane, and they will pick up that kill. Some would argue maybe unnecessary to commit the Chrono, but they get the kill nonetheless, so it's a kill secure.
And if they get the tier 1 tower with this, probably a worthwhile trade. They would have much rather, have mid lane.
Did not catch that, but Mokloi just gets dropped. Things are speeding up here, Stinky. Apparently we're going to start missing kills, or I'm going to start missing kills.
I mean, that's really the issue with the draft that Piracy have. I mean, they're trying to rectify that now.
Oh, here we go again. Oh, DC-28, there's the Potom ulti though. But oh no, the rocket! The rocket! Wait a minute! The rocket came out from bot?
Yeah, he's done that several times. He likes chucking the rocket first and then TPing. Lends to good dramatic effect, as we see there. But that is a surprisingly big kill on the Invoker. Of course, he did take down that mid-tier 1 first, so not all that bad for me. He did take the Viper with him, so at the end of the day, not too bad. It's really just going to come down to whether or not they make enough space for their anti-mage. These kills can happen all across the map. Really, perhaps doesn't matter all that much as long as Sentinel is farming away.
Yeah, well, that's it. Sentinel, he's having a great time. He doesn't even know what's going on around the map at the moment. In fact, no, he does. Grimace is going to find Sentinel, or Sentinel's going to find him, and Grimace gets jumped on, does leap, the smoke misses. Feels bad, man. Not going to be feeling very good at the moment. and he will have to let that one go. And in fact, Grimace is going to stick around. The rocket will show him, but now he'll back off, realizing he can't go for some kind of counterplay.
He is fundamentally his team's position 1, so doesn't want to risk anything, and going for a very position 1-esque build, going straight right-click carry the Midas. That's fair enough, but now Dragon Lance into the Fusel Blade. That is a pretty interesting build. I can see why you wouldn't want to go for the magical damage build. Getting the Aghanim Scepter, all that magical damage doesn't really do too much against an Anti-Mage or a Viper, and when Clockwork gets a Blade Mail, which is going to be his first item, could even backfire against you. So I don't mind this sort of alternative build coming out from Grimace at all.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Because the double Starfall would have really hurt through a Blade Mail. So, not the worst idea coming out from Mr. Grimace. Apparently, he's not just good for working at McDonald's. And he will... I'm not sure if you have Grimace in Southeast Asia. That it used to be a thing. Hold on a minute though. Timosity will get rocketed and that'll be it. He will back off, and you know, it's 9-4. There's no tier 1s down for the side of YSM. There's all the tier 1s down for the side of Piracy, but I'm feeling relatively confident for them at the moment. In fact, speaking of which, Dragon, he's in the mid lane right now. He's gonna find Grollo. And there's the Battery Assault, there's the Cogs, there's the Viper Ultimate, there's the Smoke as well. They've thrown everything but the Kitchen Sink at him. And what's Rubik stolen here? He's actually stolen the Blink Strike. Not the best skill in the world, but might help out a bit.
Level 1 Blink Strike, very long cooldown on that, so probably would have hoped for something like the Smoke Screen instead. Can't complain all that much though, and yeah, wouldn't be surprised if he tries to steal another spell soon. You can always count on the Viper's Viper Strike being up. But yeah, I mean, a kill is a kill. Faceless Void dead means a lot less pressure. That Chronos here is really what they're relying on for their most reliable teamfight initiation. So while it does take a lot to take him down, they do relieve a lot of pressure on the map, and importantly for Anti-Mage to get some farm going.
Indeed. I was just slightly confused. I'm looking at Grimace. He's got a Mask of Madness now. Is this... like, he's going full attack speed. And hold on a minute, Timosity dodges the arrow. Will manage to back out, but Grimace has just gone full attack speed.
Yeah, I'm actually not that big a fan of this Mask of Madness. The silence is one thing, of course. The implications of that are fairly obvious. But a lot of Mirana's earlier talents do give attack speed instead of attack damage, so you perhaps don't get the most efficiency out of that.
Oh, the hook missed. I agree with your Mask of Madness comments, by the way. I don't know if that was the best item to pick up. Oh, wait a minute. There's the arrow, the pot of multi as well. The Sunstrike will connect all the sentries. There's the Hidden Slam and the Void Chrono. Onto 3. He's caught Nevdi, but it doesn't matter. Look, the Clockwork will go down. D-Wood, he might drop as well, but Mockloy, he's still trying to fight this one. It's 2 down so far for the side of the Dire. The Chaos Meteor as well. And it looks like Mockloy not tanky enough. Timosity was not there with the Shallow Grave, just out of range. And I mean, what do? Everything just connected and fell into place for them, and they just pull it off perfectly from the side of YSM.
I really think what you do is you just try not to fight there. And how do you fight there, really? There's a Chronos here, there's a Blink Echo Slam, there's an Invoker chucking meatballs around. What can you do? And you know, the answer apparently is just die. The Blade Mails didn't do anything there. If they had, however, Sentinel farming on the other side of the map, perhaps could be creating pressure elsewhere, you know, going for this tier 1 bottom. He's trying to do that now, but the TPs will come in before he really gets anything done. So Anti-Mage, he's got the Battle Fury still working towards the Mantis Tower. I would have really liked to see him just not being involved in that fight. I can appreciate the sentiment of him trying to help out his team, but clearly he could have been doing other things and it didn't work out for him there.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Now he is doing other things. That bot lane is going to go down, it looks like, but Nevdi throws out the Fisher. That's a warning shot. Now there's a second, and Sentinel, in fact, it wasn't a warning shot. It was a lot more. He might actually go down here. The arrow misses. Can he get out? No, he can't. Grimace, too much damage with the right click, but he does get the tier 1, and I don't think you'd call that worth, but at the end of the day, a tier 1's a tier 1.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you can call that the best of a very bad situation, but that's exactly what we're talking about. If he had done that earlier, he could have gotten away scot-free. He didn't really get anything from joining that fight anyway. Instead, he gets a tier 1 at the end, sure, but he pays with his life. and it's just so hard. You know, we talked about this during the draft. There's so many ways of catching him out. The Fissure is longer than nighttime vision, and we see that once again here in the mid lane.
Oh, he's
Ricky
still alive.
does survive though.
Yeah, he's still alive through all this. Can he get out? The arrow dodge, oh, blink, animation wasn't good enough. Now they find Timosity. Can they get in the Cyclone? He doesn't dodge. The rocket comes out. The Sunstrike, it's just too much. He doesn't shallow grave himself. He was just too selfless. And now Viper's been picked up as well. Gets dropped. There's the ulti. Mokloy. Can he get out? Dragon, he's held him in. That's not the plan. The meatball comes in. It's going to kill Dragon, the Blade Mail. It doesn't matter. Grolo, he comes in as well. He has the chrono, but he won't throw it out. But, I mean, you know, I don't want to trash talk Dragon, but that was a bit questionable.
He did reflect a lot of damage with that Blade Mail, I suppose, which at the very least forces Invoker back. Would have certainly added to that push. Probably would have been a dead tier 3 by now if he was just there full health with the Alacrity ready. Of course, didn't have much mana either, so didn't want to get blown out by a Mana Void. But I don't know. This is looking pretty rough. They've got the Echo Slam back up now, and with that Blink Dagger, we know what it can do.
Yeah, they've got. I mean, they've got everything. They've got the Echo. They've got the Chrono. They've got the Moonlight Shadow. Things are looking bad. They've even got a Blink on the Rubik, being the AM Blink. Yeah, things are looking pretty terrible. Now the meatball is off cooldown as well. They're gonna go for the tier 2 first. They'll take it easy. We'll see what happens.
You really can't fight this.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. Maybe they can. I still have faith in Team Piracy. I have faith, Stinky. I know yours is fading slightly. There's an arrow that comes out. Dragon. Will it connect? No, it won't. But he felt it. He felt it in his bones. And look at this. Grimace not afraid whatsoever. Dragon thinking about the hook shot. Not throwing it out quite yet. Feels bad, man. Got to get a good smoke off here if he wants to make something happen. And Grimace is actually hitting like an absolute truck right now. He's got the Maelstrom as well. They're just waiting, Stinky. They're just waiting for the right time to throw the Chrono out. Or something.
I mean, Sentinel, he's off farming elsewhere, but he's not quite in a position to apply pressure to towers, so there's really no pressure on YSM to do anything.
Oh, Grimace. He's got the Alacrity now as well, Stinky. He's hitting so fast. I mean, maybe this was the plan. You put the Alacrity on, you use the Mask of Madness and the Leap, and suddenly, I mean, I don't know how you can shoot arrows that fast, but apparently you can. If you wear a certain mask and you have certain abilities. Dragon. Oh, the arrow connected. The Alacrity's there as well. Look at all the lightning bolts. The Sunstrike. There's no shadow. There's no shallow grave, I should say. And I mean, I've got to say, like, there hasn't been many this game either. Mokloy, I don't know what he can do about this. Like you said, AM's off split pushing right now. Finally, he's reached the tower, but I don't know what it's gonna do. The tier 3's going down. Looks like they're going to lose their racks in a second. There's a fish on Nefty. He just jumps in. The Shallow Grave is there, but D-Wood, he's jumped in as well. The smoke, though. EMP does miss at the end of the day. Grolo's still hitting. And Mokloy actually took out Grimace. That's a big kill.
And, you know, being dead, we'll see if they continue pushing, because up very soon will be Dragon on that Clockwork.
Looks like they're feeling
No
confident.
cliff for the racks.
Yeah, it feels bad, man. Smoke will stop them. The Cyclone, though, will also bring them back. Apparently, the Fisher connects on 2. The lift onto the Dazzle. And there's the Chrono onto 2. The EMP as well. I mean, I think they're pretty much screwed at this point. Mokloy, he's making a run for it. No, Grolo lets him go. No, wait a minute. DC-28 had it under control. Sentinel has pushed down to the tier 2. Probably should just keep going by this point. He's lost his racks. But, yet, no, he's decided he will go and try and do something. This could be a bit of a rat moment, but no, the EC28's there to save the day. Will ensure that tier 3 does not get pushed in. Now it's about collateral. Dragon misses the hook, unfortunately. Now the cogs, the lift, and the blink in. Smoke from Phil's Badman. Dragon can't do anything. The Blade Mail just not really doing its job. Nevdi looking for Phil's Badman. They found him. The ulti's there, though, dealing a decent amount of damage. D-Wood, he's got Shallow Grave, and he uses it and TP's away. I have a feeling that wasn't really necessary, but nevertheless, he uses it. And 1 rack's down, Stinky. And 2 more to go. Oh, wait a minute. Echo Slams there. Phil's Padman. He gets Shallow Grave, though. Timosity, he's on it this time. He's getting hit quite a lot, but he's evading, apparently. Sunstrike. Oh, the fish shot's just too much. Grimace drops him. And they're pinging the T4s now.
They're really getting away with what perhaps they shouldn't be.
Oh, look at this. Grimace.
Viper?
Grimace. Careful. Monkloi doesn't want to go for it. Actually, hold on a minute. DC-28's here. Invis is there. Where's the dust? Where's the sentries? Apparently there are none. And DC-28's just sitting there going, well, hold on a minute. I can keep going, and now he can. Yeah, there's the deafening blast. Ricky ulti. Oh, Grimace, he might have overextended here. EMP, though, will make him back off, and they've got no mana left. Monkloi making a run for it. DC-28. Is he going to turn around? Yes, he will. The Ice Wall's there. Dragon, beautiful hook from him. The battery assault as well. The dust is there, DC. He's got the Shallow Grave. Can they help him out at all? Yes, they can. Apparently, Dragon's going to drop. Now, Sentinel is getting pretty low. Will back off at the end of the day. D-Wood's there as well. Grollo has the chrono in a second. Will he commit it? He has a defusal. It feels like he doesn't need to. And doesn't at this point. Monkloi, no, he will get chronoed at the end of the day. Dazzle, he'll be the first target. Then Monkloi will be the second. Timosity goes down. Monkloi goes down as well. I can't count how many times they've died now in their own base, but it's quite a lot. And I have a feeling they're losing a second Rax here, Stinky.
Yeah, and all of this isn't even the YSM squad at full strength. And that first engagement, what seemed to be ages ago, Mirana just went down. They still pushed 4 versus 5. It didn't matter to them. All of these engagements are just 1 or 2 heroes getting away with absolutely ridiculous plays, but we saw the lack of dust there. It really just starts adding up.
Oh, wait a minute. They've lifted. They found the anti-mage, and I mean, what can you do? It just, like you said, everything adds together, and it just does not look pretty for the side of Team Piracy. They are going to keep pushing. Dragon throwing out rockets as much as he can. The fish is there, though. He's copping so much damage. The Blade Mail brings a bit back to Grimace. Feels bad, man. Is there with the smoke. D-Wood. Shallow Grave is still available, although he force-staffs the wrong way. He might drop his Sentinel. He's going to go for a D-Wood. No, he stills the blink and will blink out. Now the Echo Slam from Nevdi. Oh, it's all going to connect the Fisher as well to 4. What a position 4 player. How is this man not dominating every team he plays against? The Ricky ulti will let him escape death, but at the end of the day, that's a second Raxon. I mean, that might just be game now.
Certainly looks like it. Just that picturesque finish. Huge Echo Slam there at the end. And when your anti-mage buys back, that is a terrible situation to be in to begin with. And if it could be any worse, he just dies shortly afterwards too.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking here. Looks like Phil's bad man will end up dropping as well. Nevdi walks away with the skin of his teeth, but doesn't look concerned whatsoever. And well, actually,
should have been a bill concerned.
He loses his gem, although his team is around the area. And I mean, no GG well played has been called yet. They do have Dragon and Dazzle up now. Viper is up as well. The tier 4 is being pushed. There's the hook in. They're going to try their best here. DC-28 does back off. And in fact, they look a bit scared at the moment on YSM side. DC comes back in though. The Ice Wall will slow down everything. Now the EMP. Grollo, 3-man chrono from him. And this is going to be an absolute disaster. There goes one. The second probably coming very soon. The Meatball does miss at the end of the day. Sentinel, he's trying his best at the moment, but he can't attack anyone. Now Monkloi, he's looking for more. Looks like Grollo's not scared of the Viper, actually. The Alacrity's there as well, and Monkloi, he's going to cop the Sunstrike and go to sleep. Void almost down, actually, and there was an anti-mage ulti. It looks like the bottom drop. Grollo, will he drop through all this? No, the Tornado is there. He is very low, though. The EMP as well. Sentinel, he's still chasing. He does miss him at the end of the day. And it looks like he will back out. Sentinel, though, Cold Snap. The Manta's there to wear it off, I guess. There's a Divine Rapier on our Priestess of the Moon, Stinky. And I think they're feeling slightly confident at the moment.
You would think so, wouldn't you? Why not? Dominating performance game 1, game 2. There were a couple of shaky moments, but they just had no problems with this anti-mage, and I don't know, they're just going through the motions at this point.
Going through the motions indeed. Dragon, oh, actually gets a kill. Wastes the hook. Nevertheless, gets a kill. That's a killing spree. Given away Dragon. There's the Echo Slam though. Dazzle just disappeared. It looks like his corpse just got buried automatically. Feels bad, man. He is there. Nevdi will drop him at the end of the day, but he drops as well. That's a 3 for 3 at this point. The throne is exposed. The buybacks are coming out. Monkloi will drop as well. No, wait, he didn't drop the pit. The bottom drop. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I was a bit distracted just then. But there's a Divine Rapier on the deck, Stinky.
Yeah, And no buyback on Mirana. That is probably the sharpest net worth drop I've seen on a single hero ever.
And
but yes, there is now a Divine Rapier, which is perhaps shortly changing hands.
no, apparently not, because Invoker's about to feed his life away. DC-28, mate. I'll tell you what, they all doubted Team Piracy. This was all calculated. They knew this was gonna happen. I told you, the arrogance play.
You did. Losing game 1, being behind in game 2.
This is the comeback.
Also, that Nirvana buys a Rapier.
This is the comeback.
Oh boy.
I mean,
net worth isn't even looking that bad anymore. It's down to a 3k net worth lead for YSM, and they're up 2 lanes of racks. That's huge. But there's a frigging Rapier on a Viper now. all right.
I mean, you know, the thing is, they probably could have given it to Sentinel, but I think it was like, we better pick it up before DC-28 comes in and steals it off us. But, I don't know, is it really that great on Viper?
It's not terrible, that's for sure. I think, you know, certainly after the anti-mage, you'd want to give it to this Viper.
Oh, Stinky, look at this. Stinky, look at this. Look what the side of YSM are doing. They're being cautious. They're being like, they're a bit scared, you can see it. They're actually like, hold on a minute. We could be in a bit of trouble here.
And you were mentioning actually that this is a team who have thrown games before.
Yes, they have.
So, well, it would feel very bad to lose this game because there is absolutely no reason why they should have lost this game if not for just pure hubris.
The funniest thing is Twitch viewers are currently sitting there going, oh man, this game was over. But there's a 5-minute delay.
I mean, it should have been, really. I don't see why it's not over until Grimace decided to buy a Rapier and die.
If you've gone to McDonald's, you know Grimace is the fat greedy one. So nothing surprising about him going for the greedy style Divine Rapier. Nothing wrong with fat people either. I'm quite fat myself, but nevertheless, they're gonna make the push here. Cyclone will be on Mantra Illusions. Tier 3 is dropping. They've got to go now. They've got a Divine Rapier. It was free of charge. They literally did not pay a thing for it. Tier 3.
Well, they paid with 2 lanes of racks, so to speak.
Well, I suppose so. Well,
we'll see if they can hold on to the third.
Well, I mean, that was like taxes, though. Like, you really have no choice. You just have to do it. There's the hook in Dragon. He's gone in without his team. He's had enough. The MP, though, comes in. Now, Ricky. Oh, look at how strong the Viper is. There's Void down. That's one. They've got a gem as well here. They're getting everything off YSM. This is like a garage sale. Oh, there's the Echo Slam. Nefty. The Chaos Meteor as well. The Shallow Grave, though. Viper's still alive. Heal the damn Viper, sir. Dazzle. Wait a minute, who's dead? Phil's Badman is. Timosity looks like he'll be the next target. Sunstrike is going to connect. Sentinel, will he pick it up? It looks like he will. He's going to be quick. He's got it. He's got it. He's hitting like a truck, but he has to be the hero right now. It looks like it's going to have to be a Mega Creep comeback at this point. Grimace, he's actually going to go 1v1 with this AM. He doesn't actually hit that hard, surprisingly enough. Sentinel will have to back off. And apparently, Viper was the right hero to put it on, and that will be GG will play. The Ancient's going down.
Bit of a roller coaster ride at the end there. Sometimes you get what you don't bargain for, but we were certainly taken for one hell of a ride.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, I was mentioning before how I was dying to cast some Dota games. And you know, sometimes these kind of Dota games are just really, really fun to cast. So it was always a pleasure casting. Stinky, before we leave, I'd like to give a shout out to CSR who donated. Unfortunately, because I don't have a bot, it did not read out the donation as was expected, so I'll read them out. Sentinel goes to my school. Great guy. Fried rice is his favorite food. Enjoy these coins. And then Piracy needs some real energy. That was after game 1, which, I mean, that was fair enough. Stinky, as usual, it's always...
I mean, I was just going to say, actually, I'm going to spend that money on some fried rice.
That's actually a very good point. That's a very, very good point. Stinky, I was going to say it's always a pleasure. Now, for the Australian fans that don't know you, you got any shout-outs, anything like that? I mean, they seem to be fans, so hopefully we'll bring you back. But any shout-outs, anything like that?
I guess. Shout out to Grimace's rapier. A big fuzzy purple monster with a big scary sword can do quite a lot, but it can also give us some heart attacks at points.
Hold on a minute. So you know about this this Grimace? Is he at the C McDonald's?
He's not a thing, but he's surprisingly well known. I would say there's a term Grimace colored, so it's a thing.
Interesting. Well, as always, it's been a pleasure, guys. If you enjoyed, consider following the Twitch. Follow me at MLP Dota on Twitter. Of course, Stinky, as I said at the start of Game 1, does not have a Twitter, even though I've annoyed him about it for ages now. But he does have a Twitch, which I'll link into the chat. Stinky, would you like to read out your Twitch, please?
Yeah, it's twitch.tv/Thinkerized, which
with
is
an S.
perhaps confusingly, with an S, as we do go by the British spelling. It's not the same name as the name I go by, which is a bit confusing as well, but what can you do?
Yeah, well, we should probably close this off. I want to go see the end of that game on the stream because there is a 5-minute delay. But yeah, guys, look, it's been a pleasure. It's been Michael Finn. It's been StinkyPie. You guys have a great night ahead.